Hello. Hey, how's everybody doing today? It's me, Dante. You probably thought it was Duante or Dwayne. I don't know. You definitely didn't probably think it was Dante. But it's me, Duante Suitman Barnett. I'm here on the Survivor Series. This isn't a wrestling event or anything. I'd probably feel a whole lot better by now if it was a wrestling event. But it's a way to talk about the crazy journey, the crazy story, and everything I'm dealing with after surviving a aortic disaster. Um, First off, let's start with who I am. I'm Dante Barnett. I said suit man, like suit and tie. I do comedy shows. I produce a couple podcasts. I'm also a sports broadcaster. I do stats, stage manager for Seattle sports, so like Kraken, UW. Um, Literally the week before my event was crazy. December 7th, I worked a UW basketball game versus UCLA. 3 days later, on December 10th, I worked the UW basketball game against the Eastern Washington. I can't think of their damn mascot, but Eastern Washington University. That day before that, I had done an open mic at Tacoma Comedy Club. On Wednesday, I had dropped in somewhere and done another open mic. Um, Thursday, the 12th, I worked the Bruins, the Boston Bruins versus the Seattle Kraken hockey game. Saturday, December 14th, 2024, I actually turned 43 years old. The night before that, I was a security guard. I'm a 6'2", 280-pound guy. So I worked back door. So that Friday, I'd work security. Saturday, I had worked early morning. I had worked security somewhere else. Saturday night, I had worked the Tampa Bay Lightning game versus uh, Seattle Kraken, and everything was going great. That same week, I had went to karaoke on Tuesday after that Eastern Washington UW basketball game, and met this gorgeous woman. And the funny part is, I wasn't even sure I had met her. My autism kicked in. That's why I do some of the podcasts because I'm autistic and deaf, so I don't hear everything, don't always get everything, and so honestly, didn't even think the lady was hitting on me. The next day, she added me on Facebook, so we had a date on the 12th. She came and saw me on the 14th, which was my birthday, to say hi, right? And so December 15th hits, and the night before I was my birthday. I did the hockey game. I then did security in my suit because I'm suit man. So I was in a purple shirt, purple gaiters, blue shirt, like just looking fantastic, right? And the night before on my birthday, I had worked one security job till 2, and then worked somebody else till 5, and then got home and woke up at 7:30 so I could record an episode of Dating with Disabilities, which is on my YouTube, right? And everything was going normal. And I had scheduled a third date, right? This is the third date with this lady I had just met. And she came over to my house and we were eating and I'd made dinner and everything was going great. And we were hanging out. For young people, you could say we were Netflix and chilling. Uh, we were having a good time. We had reached the top of the mountain, if you know what I mean. And she went her way to go sit in the living room, and we watched TV again. And I went to go use the restroom, and everything kind of fell apart. Um, I remember kind of feeling the pain in my chest after I had an orgasm, and I decided to go try to use the bathroom. I sat in there for a while. Next thing you know, it'd been like probably 5 minutes or so, and she asked if I'm okay, and I'm like, "Yeah, my leg's numb. I can't really feel my leg." So she's got to go to the bathroom, and so I try to walk past her and I can barely walk, and my legs tingling and just all over the place. And so she's like, "Are you sure you're okay?" And I lay on my bed and I can't feel my left leg. I literally can't feel my left leg. And it's numb. I can feel my heart racing. She starts asking me, "Well, let's take you to the ER." And I'm like, "How are you going to get me to the ER? You're 140 pounds. I can't feel my leg. Like, I can't walk. I can't get out of here. Like, what? How are you going to do this?" So we call 911. Nine, the ambulance gets here. Uh, they're trying to get me out my apartment. There's 7 stairs in concrete, 4 or 5 stairs, and they can't pick me up. And we're arguing over getting me to the proper height because they're about to drag my foot across the fucking concrete. I can feel it dragging. I can see it dragging, I guess, across the carpet. So when you get me on the concrete, you're just gonna rip my skin off. And so we're arguing, and we finally get out of my apartment. And the hospital's not that far away, so it takes 5 or 10 minutes. And mind you, I've only known this woman for like 3 days. And I think that's the craziest part about this story is we've only met 4 times, right? Um, we met, we've hung out 3 times. This is the 3rd time, and I hand her my keys and I go, "Well, lock up and guess I'll meet you at the hospital." And we get to the hospital and I'm talking to the guys. And they're like, "So what were you doing before this?" And I tell them I was having intercourse, and they're like, "Well, the one guy is smart. He's like, well, are you sure the other lady's happy?" And I'm like, "Well, she's here." I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have came here if she wasn't happy. She definitely would have probably went home. She definitely would have probably went home, you know. And they run a whole bunch of tests on me, and I can't feel my legs. And so my now girlfriend comes back in, and I ask her to hop up on the bed with me. She's like, "We're gonna get in trouble," and I'm like, "They're not gonna kick me out the hospital. I mean, I got a leg that doesn't work. They're not gonna throw me out because you're laying next to me. You know what I mean? Like, come on, get it together." And so he's laying on me. We're cuddling. I'm calm, you know. And this is when I knew it was taking a turn for the worse. The doctor comes in and goes, "Can I?" No, she goes, "We're so happy you came in." And I looked at my girlfriend. I was like, "That's not a good sign." When they're happy to see you at the ER, that means something's going wrong. And the doctor said, "You're right. But the good news is we can fix it." I said, "Okay." So they whisked me off to, I think, another hospital. I don't know. I don't know where I got sent to be quite exact. I can't remember. But then I had to get ready for surgery. And they said I had some sort of occlusion and a blood clot in my left leg, and they're gonna do a femoral bypass or whatever. And I got my one friend I've known forever standing next to me for like 25 years. And I've got this beautiful woman I just met this past week standing next to me. And the nurse comes in and she goes, "So we're going to need him to pee in a cup, and then we're going to need him to take a sponge bath." And she hands her the cup and hands her the sponge bath and leaves the room. And the girl looks at him like, "Well, I'm not his girlfriend yet. What do you want me to do?" And I looked at her and I couldn't quite move. And I was like, "Well, I need help. You know, I can't do this all alone." And my buddy had already left the room. Like, I'm not going to be a part of this. This ain't got nothing to do with me. And so she ends up helping me try to pee in this cup. and I just dribble everywhere because I can't really control anything down there. I'm just not as, and I'm laughing. And she's like, "You already peed on me, and we've only this is our third date." And she's laughing, and I'm laughing. And the nurse comes in, and we tell her, and she's laughing. And then she's got to give me a sponge bath everywhere, and she's just totally. She was there for me, and we're both laughing it up. I'm still in good spirits, and I go in for my femoral bypass, which is the bottom surgery on my groin. I got 2 scars, and so I go in. I'm still actually in a pretty good attitude. I can remember joking around with everybody and telling them I was a comedian, really having a good laugh about what was coming next and not really worried about anything. And everything was great. And they're asking me, "Are you on any medications? Are you taking any pills? Do you have high blood pressure? Do you have diabetes? Do you have any health concerns?" And it was like, "No, I'm pretty much healthy. I'm not on any pills. I don't take any medications. I'm not pre-diabetes. I'm not any of those things. I'm actually quite normal. Like I wasn't taking any pills. I didn't even take a vitamin. You know what I mean?" So this is December 16th. This is 2 days after my 43rd birthday. Um, and that was kind of the last normal conversation I had. And what I mean by that is that was the last time I remember being the old Dante. And I say that because my next memory is waking up from femoral bypass. And I'm looking, and I've got my dad's now here, thank God. And my dad's standing next to the bed, and the girl I just met, she's in the room, but she's in the back crying. And I'm coming out, and fuck, got a little emotional. I'm coming out, and I'm already crying because I see they're crying, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And my dad doesn't really cry. Like I try not to cry, and I know something bad is wrong because my dad's crying, and he's like, I'm sorry, son," and I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean I'm sorry? Like, what are you apologizing for?" And he's like, "You gotta have heart surgery." And I remember just being like, "I don't want to have heart surgery. I just had the surgery below." And the girl starts crying in the back, and my dad starts crying more. And all I'm doing is getting fucking mad because I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. Um, I'm extremely upset about this shit. Like, you guys said you were gonna fix me, and you were supposed to be able to fix me with the surgery you did this morning. And they're like, "No, your heart dissected." Because by now the doctors came in because I'm awake, and they're like, "Sir, your heart dissected, and your heart's torn, and it's bleeding into itself. And if we don't repair it, you're definitely gonna die." And I did not respond well to that at all. I started cussing. Um, I told him to get the fuck out of my face. I was just mad. Like I had no idea what was going on. And not only did I have no idea what was going on, but I had no idea what the fuck they were gonna do. Like I was just healthy 2 days ago. Like 2 days before this, I had just turned 43. I had just met this woman who loved my karaoke and laughed at my bad jokes. Like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like, you gotta have surgery. And I fall asleep and I post on my Facebook a very angry post about how I gotta have surgery and fuck my life. And I wake up the next morning and I post I'm heading into surgery. Fuck this shit on December 17th. And I was cussing everybody out from my first recovery room to the operating room. And everybody in between. Um, I had no idea what an aortic dissection was, let alone why I was getting a femoral bypass, really, or any of that shit. I just came in because my leg was numb. And here we are, like 48 hours later, and I'm on surgery number 2. And I didn't understand they were going to cut open my whole chest. I didn't understand it was open heart surgery. I honestly, when I tell you this, I had no idea what was really going on because I had just woke up, like literally just woke up from having a femoral bypass. So December 18th comes. I don't really wake up. December 19th comes. I'm still not really awake. December 20th comes. I don't really remember anything. December 21st comes. Uh, I'm still just a vegetable. Finally, uh, the night of December 22nd, which I really didn't remember until I went back and looked at my messages and looked at when I was talking to a friend of mine and when I'd messaged him. But December 22nd, that night, I finally kind of wake up. Um, I'm conscious enough to grab my phone and go through my phone and kind of message a couple of people back. Um, I'm conscious enough to see what's going on and find my phone on the charger, but I don't really remember anything. Like I don't remember being told what happened. I don't, I don't even remember that. The first day I really remember is December 23rd. I wake up at 6 in the morning and I'm hungry. And I go to wake up and I can't move. I go to wake up and I'm intubated. I've got monitors all over my body. I'm unable to really lift my leg. Um, and I just feel like I got like hit by a truck everywhere. And I just feel lost. And it's hard because I didn't know where I was at. I didn't. I didn't really recall what had gone on. It was hard because I didn't I didn't recognize anybody. I didn't know who my nurses were. I didn't know what I had really gone through. I couldn't remember anything. Everything I had just told you, every nuance to what had happened the week before, every real nuance to really even what had happened before I went to surgery was gone. I just knew I was in the hospital. And so my dad comes in shortly after. The lady friend comes in shortly after that. And they're just so amazed to see me alive. And I think that was a weird feeling too. I've got to tell you guys, I had never been hospitalized for a surgery before this. My 43 years on life and all I can think of, I had never. I've had ear surgery, I've had knee surgery, I've had a shoulder reattached, right? I've had like hardcore surgeries, but I had never ever in my 43 years been hospitalized. And I didn't plan on going to the hospital and being hospitalized. And so that first day, they try to come in and talk to me and tell me what happened. And I'm not even like able to comprehend it, right? Like, I'm really just trying to appreciate I'm alive. And so, so hungry and I'm so thirsty, and all they'll fucking give you is ice chips. And like, oh God, I forgot about this. Like, not even a lot of them. Like, I was having to beg, borrow, and fucking deal to get somebody to give me an ice cube. And oh my God, they were so good. Ice cubes have never tasted so good except for when you come out of surgery. Oh God. Because that's the only thing you can have. Because they won't give you a whole thing of water, right? They can only give you just a little bit. And then they want to see if you can chew and swallow. And they don't want you to die and all these things. And I can just remember having to like fight to get a damn ice chip. And I was like, so, like, give me ice. Oh, oh, that was hell. And so you know, the hardest thing about the hospital, or at least the one I was at, is it wasn't 24-hour visitation. You can only have people till 9 or 10. And I think most ICUs are actually like that. The recovery rooms may be a little different, but the ICUs, they're usually like that. And so I was on, mind you, I've never been on any machines. I've never had a hospital stay. This is all foreign to me. And so, first off, I was taking like 50, 60 fucking pills a day. I had to take these fucking horse potassium pills, 30 grand. They're fucking huge, and I can barely swallow, and they're barely giving me enough water to drink them. And then 90% of the other stuff they're giving to me intravenously. So I'm just like, ooh, and I'm in and out. And then I can't move really because my chest is fucked up and my legs messed up both sides. And I just remember the people who supported you need a break too. And so when I woke up, they all kind of saw me, but it was like they needed to leave now. They needed that first night was so lonely because everybody had stayed. I hadn't really I hadn't really noticed at that time that it was 7 days. I just thought it was the next day. It hadn't kicked into me that I had been down and out for 5 or 6 days, right? It hadn't kicked in. I hadn't consciously figured out that my dad and my Uncle Brian and my girlfriend Tessa and my buddy DK had spent days at the hospital wondering what was going to happen, wondering if I was even going to wake up. For my girlfriend, it was even harder because she thought she had almost killed me. We had had sex, and then I'm in the hospital, and now I'm going through all these things, and she had all this anxiety and guilt about the situation, right? And in reality, she had probably saved my life. Because being stubborn, if I'd have been home alone and got the blood clot, I'd have just figured my leg went numb, and I wouldn't have wanted to call 911, and I'd have just been there by myself, and who knows what would have happened. And so it's now nighttime, and I'm tired, but I can't get no sleep. And I bring this up because when you're in ICU, or at least for me, they wanted to check my heart rate every hour, and you got to get pills every couple of hours, and you got to get your blood drawn 3 to 4 fucking times a day, and then they got to have somebody come talk to you about your feelings, and somebody come talk to you about have you walked, and then you're supposed to walk, and when the fuck am I supposed to sleep? Like, when the fuck am I getting more than 45 minutes to myself? And for those of you who don't know, you're asleep or you do pass out, and then the damn arm comes on. And if the noise doesn't wake up, the pressure does because it gets so damn tight because your blood pressure's high or you weren't expected or whatever, right? Well, that wasn't the worst part. I think the worst part about the stay for me was having people asking you the same questions every day. And when I first came out of surgery, I would get overstimulated very easily. And I would get mad very easily. And I tell the nurses, I don't want to fucking talk anymore. Like, you guys should know why the fuck I'm here. Why do I have to explain to you why I'm here, what happened? I'm like, you guys should know this shit. And you get 3 to 4 different nurses a day. So whenever a new nurse comes in, they want to ask you the same 7 questions. And then when the fucking lady comes in to draw your blood, she wants to ask you when your birth date and all your names. Ma'am, I'm not like, nobody's in here switching fucking bodies and tables and beds. I've been Dante since the 23rd. I've been Dante the whole time. Why do you need that? Here's my damn wristband. Just fucking scan it. Like, I was so mad. It was so frustrating. And then if I get mad, they wanted to act full to scared, and I'm a big scary black guy. I can't get it up. I can't get out of this bed really without help. Not only that, but I don't know for the men, my genitals swelled up to the size of a cantaloupe, so I wasn't moving anywhere as fast. I had to carry my balls to get up. I literally had to lift up my balls with both hands so I could get up and get down. So I'm not dangerous, not scary. I may be mean. I'm definitely mean. I got a silver tongue, right? But I'm not. And so you start feeling the racial issues. People not being able to culturally understand you or leave you alone. Or people telling you you're yelling at them. I'm not yelling. I'm partial deaf. There's a tattoo to show it, and I'm not. I'm in pain. I'm just being loud. So let's just be honest. My first fucking 2 days in the hospital were miserable. I'm fighting with staff to get stuff to drink. I'm fighting with staff to get help. I'm fighting with staff to give them me a pillow. I can't reach the buttons or remember which buttons do what or where they're at on the bed, anyways. So I can't adjust myself without help. I'm dropping the remote. If I drop the remote, I can't pick it up. I need somebody to help me drink stuff because I can barely lift my like. I have never felt so helpless, upset, infuriated, disrespected in my life because nobody understood me. None of the staff that were helping me would understood my communication style, understood I was autistic, understood that I wasn't planning on this, understood that my whole life under change, really just understood that I was in crisis. And unfortunately for me, my support team, my dad, my girl, my friends, they were so exhausted for waiting for 7 days for me to wake up that nobody could be there. And I can't blame them. My dad, my girl, they were at the hospital for 7 straight days without me waking up. Once I woke up and said I was fine, and the doctors I was fine, yeah, they needed some time away, so I was left there. It wasn't until the next day, which was Christmas Eve, that I finally figured out because they're like, "Tomorrow's Christmas, aren't you excited?" And I was like, "What the fuck? I got here on the 16th. How is it Christmas?" And luckily, that was the day I got a good nurse. Can't remember the kid's name, but I got a Hawaiian nurse that day, and he was a nice little fellow. And I left it. I looked at him because I was upset. I was tired of how I was being treated. I was tired of having all these white people talk to me in a certain kind of way I definitely didn't appreciate. And looked at my Hawaiian nurse and I was like, "I'm really tired of all these fucking howlies out here." And he said, "What'd you say, sir?" And I was like, "You're Hawaiian, right?" And he was like, "Yeah." I said, "I'm tired of these howlies." And he was like, "How do you know that word?" I was like, "Motherfucker, I plan on moving to Hawaii. That was my plan in May, which I still plan to do." And he just started laughing. And at that moment, he understood me. He uh, he found a common ground with me. He knew I wasn't really that bad of a person. Unlike the other nurses, I just wasn't used to being around all these sensitive white folks and all these people who were scared of me and all this racial bias because I keep to myself. I'm not used to having to deal with it. And unfortunately, in the hospital system, we do. I had people telling me, "Well, they saved your life. I don't know what you're complaining about." I'm complaining because I don't like how you're treating me as a human being. Who gives a fuck if you saved my life? I want to punch you in the face after you did it. Right? And unfortunately, luckily, I couldn't. So probably luckily for me, I couldn't respond how I wanted to, but it's not about what my response is. It's the idea that I wanted to respond the way. It's the idea that people weren't taking me seriously or doing what I asked. And they were making me overextend myself and emotionally and just weren't really supporting my needs as a patient. And so finally the guy looks at me and he goes, "You've been here since the 16th. You had 2 surgeries. Do you not remember? And I'm like, no. And he was like, it was a pretty scary road for you. We didn't know if you were going to come back or what. There's good 4 or 5 days. He's like, I've been with you for a week off and on. And it was, I kind of broke down and cried because this kid had already been with me before, the week before. He had already given me care that I really didn't know about, right? He had already been checking my vitals and then met my parents and my girlfriend, and he had already talked to those people, but I had no clue about it. And then I was looking at him, and this is the hard one to say, and I'm like, well, am I going to be able to get out tomorrow? You know, tomorrow's Christmas. And the kid just laughed. He's, dude, you're not going anywhere for probably a couple of weeks. Do you not understand? And it really just, it still hasn't kicked in. And I still don't understand. No, motherfucker, I'm invincible. Like, I should be able. I get mad about this shit now. No, I get up and go. I do what I want. I'm a grown man. Like, no, I'm not going to be here for 2 more weeks. And so the next day is Christmas. Um, Spending holidays in the hospital's got to be the worst feeling in the fucking world, man. Because nobody wants to come to the hospital on Christmas. Uh, on the day of the 23rd, I forgot to say this. I think my friend Tex, I think my friend uh, Fat Kid, I think my girlfriend, I think Sarah Rashad, I think I had 7 or 8 or 9 people come to the hospital the first day I woke up. And it was a party, and I was laughing. We were having a good time. And we had a couple of people that come to the hospital on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas came, and nobody showed up. And that one kind of hurt. Everybody had their Christmas plans. Everybody had their families to spend time with. Everybody had dinners to eat and gifts to open. And I never got a Christmas. I think that's something we should probably address going and dropping off Christmas stories. It's a different idea, but yeah, Christmas was hell. One of the things I haven't talked about is when I came out of surgery, my taste buds didn't work. They have now. It's been 3 months, and I think about a month ago I started eating and everything started tasting normal. But for my first 2 months, especially those first couple of weeks, I couldn't taste anything. I just had a sip of a Mountain Dew just now, but back when somebody brought me a Mountain Dew, I couldn't taste it. I couldn't taste Coca-Cola. I couldn't really taste the Sprite. I couldn't taste the food. Nothing tasted good. And so I remember for my first couple of days, I wasn't eating anything. And so on Christmas, I told you I talked to the new Hawaiian nurse. Me and him are good. We're having a blast. I got one nurse I can get along with. The rest of them I'm really not getting along with. The rest of them are treating me like shit. They're talking shit with me. They're arguing with me. They're talking down to me. And I'm just like, who the fuck? Like, I'm a grown adult. If I want to have a piece of candy, I get to have a piece of candy. Like, you don't get to. But, and so Christmas comes, and I wake up at 6 and I'm talking to the nurse and I'm like, when am I getting out of here? And the white girl just gets, you're not getting out of here anytime soon. I don't know who told you that. You're not following our commands and you don't do what we order and you haven't even ate anything yet. Just talking down to me. And it's all this hospital talk because they'll write notes in your chart and they take notes. A lot of these nurses don't like always interact with you. You're not always awake, or you're not in a good mood, and I'm grumpy, and no, I don't want to fucking eat. No, I don't want anything. And I'm going through all this psychological stuff. And so the lady got smart with me, and I finally stood up for myself. And I was like, "Look here, woman. Not to be rude, but I'm going to tell you a couple of things. If you had told me I needed to have a bowel movement and eat food and sort of in order to progress and get out of here, I would have ordered food, but you never told me that. If you would have told me I needed to get up 3 to 4 to 5 times a day and walk in order to get out of here, I'd have done that because I can get up and walk. If you'd have told me that there were certain milestones that were necessary for me to progress through my care, I would have checked them off just a whole little voyage. Like this is Zelda. Like this is a video game. These are the tasks I need to complete. Finish the quest of getting the fuck out of here. I would have fucking done them, but you didn't do that. I said, I'm an adult. You're an adult. Stop talking to me like I'm one of your damn kids. And by this point, the lady's damn near crying. You can see the tears in her eyes, and I'm pissed because I'm stuck in this bed. Can't move. Got tubes in me. Whatever. And this is like early in the morning, and I spent most of Christmas Eve, and this was the other thing I didn't tell you guys about. You see shit when you're in the hospital that long. You see ghosts. I saw apparitions. I'm seeing all this crazy stuff, and I'm not telling anybody about it because I don't want to get psych meds. I don't want to be told I'm being crazy. I know it's not there. I just want to get out of the hospital. The other part is I'm in the ICU, and I heard 2 different people die already. I've only been awake for 2 days, and 2 people have flatlined while I've been in the ICU. So I've been I've been looking. I did my research, and the odds of survival get worse the longer you're in the ICU. I'm like, this is the second week. If I make it to the third week, there's like a 5% chance they say you get out the ICU. So I'm definitely trying to do whatever the fuck I can do to get out of here. So why are you acting and treating me like this? So I'm crying and I'm mad. And the funny part is the Hawaiian kid wasn't even working with me that day, but somehow, like half hour later, they sent him in. And I'm pretty sure what happened is she went out to, the nurse's station and had lost her shit and cried and threw her fit. And the Samoan dude was like, well, he's not that bad. He just wants to get out of here. And I'm pretty sure she said, you don't think he's that bad? You take care of him. He said, all right. So it's Christmas. I'm pissed off. I'm in the hospital. I'm pissed off. There's nobody with me. To be quite honest, I'm mad. There's nobody else around. I'm mad. I'm alone. I'm scared that I don't know what's going on. And luckily, this one nurse looks at me and goes, you're not getting out of here today. So if there's one thing you could have today, what would it be? And I was like, I want to take a shower. And I don't know why it's so funny to me, but I was like, they shaved. It wasn't until like this day, I'd been there for 9 days. I was like, they shaved my balls. They shaved my legs. Like, they shaved me everywhere. Do you know that? And the guy was like, well, yeah, they can't have scars. They can't have infections and hair, and it's not good for the surgical area. So, yeah, somebody got paid to shave me? Are you kidding me? And not that I hadn't shaved ever in my life in any of those areas. So I'm like, I want a shower. I want to at least be able to rinse off some of this stuff. And for those of you who don't know, you get tapes, you get stitcher tape all up and down your chest. And so it's got, the blackness, and you want to get some of the tape, and you've got all this, and you're just sticky and gross. And he's like, all right, well, let's see. He says, if you could walk 3 times by 4 o'clock, I'll figure out how to get you a shower. Now, For any of you guys who have been in ICU, you don't get to take a shower alone. That's not usually something you get. And not only that, but I love singing karaoke and I wanted to sing and be loud. And when I went to the shower, they said, you can be as loud as you want. I was like, okay. So got up, I did my first walk, later did my second walk, and then they had to take my pacemaker out. Now this was the weirdest shit, you guys. So what they had done is they had put wires from my heart that came out so they could give me a jump like a fucking car. So I had to have somebody come take my wires out so I could take a shower. Now, when I tell you this is the weirdest feeling I've ever had of somebody pulling a metal wire, because it was like basically a speaker wire out of your chest, and not one, not two, and feeling the coldness. That was one of the craziest things I've ever went through. And so I get in my shower. I'm singing Lady in Red in my shower. I'm having a blast. I'm just, I'm happy to feel like something like a person. So the 26th comes, and I'm up. By now, I'm kind of gaining some momentum. I'm feeling not so much invincible, but I'm feeling like I got to take my walk. I'm going to get my morning coffee. For lunch, I might have a bite of a banana. I'm used to the people coming in. And then I'm talking to my doctor. And next thing you know, they come in and go, he's available for transfer. We can put him in recovery, no longer the ICU. And I'm like, thank fucking God. And I was literally talking to one of my surgeons about our surgery. And he's telling me, you don't have to eat your food. Take all the pain meds you can because I don't want you to be in pain. I need you to be comfortable. And my surgeons were great. And I was wondering why they were acting so weird, kind of. You know what I mean? Because they were just being very courteous and friendly with me. And then I talked to them, and they're like, we really weren't sure if you were going to make it. You know, you had two serious surgeries in less than a 24-hour span, two anesthesias. There's not really a huge precedent for going back to back on these surgeries. And then they talked to me about my dissection, and they're like, "You almost fully dissected, like the whole thing." And usually it takes us 4 to 5 hours. We took almost 10 for yours, a little over 9. And then they're like, yeah, your body was hooked up to an oxygen and blood machine while we worked on your heart for 9 hours. And they're like, yeah, your taste buds may not come back. Hopefully your numbness in your leg goes away. Um, we really don't have a timetable. You just got to be patient. It's going to take at least 4 to 6 months. They threw out a whole bunch of more stuff that I don't remember, but they come in, they're like, we can get you over to recovery. And I'm just like, thank fucking God. Like, I can finally have some freedom. I can finally get some sleep. And they're like, yeah, we only check on you every 4 hours over there. So you should be able to sleep, a good 4 hours at a time or something. And so I get over to the recovery area. And I get there, and my first day is fantastic. I'm happy. I've now got a window I can see out of for my bed. I'm no longer just stuck in a bed facing the hospital. My bed's turned sideways, and I've got a window, and I can see the sun. And when I get out my bed, I can kind of see the water in Tacoma, or whatever you call the water for Tacoma. But I can see things. But then the treatment starts all over again, and the control, and the shit talking and the nurses thinking they just giving me attitude and me getting mad. And I had people bringing me food and snacks, and I had all these food and snacks, and they talk shit about me about, you're on a low sugar diet, and you can only have this, and you can only have that. I was like, why are you talking to me? Well, you have all this food. I said, ma'am, I'm not eating any of it. I still have 7 sodas over there. I can't even taste the Mountain Dew, so no, I'm not drinking it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to talk to me like that. Just ask me what I drink. Don't give me an attitude. And that was very hard on me. And so I made it through the 27th. We get to the 28th. I was hoping to be out. And I forgot to tell this story. I told you my balls had gotten huge. So the day when I leave on the 26th, they started peeling like a snake. They started shedding skin. And it was funny because I'm bored and they're there and they're huge and they're right in my lap. So I'm peeling them. And I've got this mound of skin, ball skin on my little table. And for whatever reason, one of the nurses grabbed it with her hands and picked it up and put it in the garbage. And I looked at her, I was like, that's my ball skin, right? And she and almost threw up. I was like, ma'am, you probably shouldn't touch stuff in a hospital without asking. You know what I mean? I remember I sent the picture to my girlfriend now, who was my girlfriend, but she was highly upset. She's like, what's that? And I told her, she's like, you got a snake growing down there. And so I'm just all over the place. And it's the 28th, and I'm still not out, but I've had a couple more friends come by, and I'm feeling better. And I'm like, we got to be close. Like, we got to get out of here. And so I finally talked to my doctors, and they wanted I think my potassium level to get to a certain point. I think it was, and they wanted to make sure they finally took the catheter out. So I had to go 24 hours without a catheter. And then I needed to use the bathroom, and they just wanted to take one more test, right? So finally, it's the 29th. I'm scheduled to get out. I get up early and take my shower because guess what? I'm allowed to take showers every day. I'm allowed by myself to call the nurse and tell her I'm taking a shower, take off all my heart monitor stuff, take my phone out, sing my karaoke, sing my little heart out in my shower. That was my daily routine, sometimes twice in those 4 days, because it was something that was mine, and I love the warm water. It was mine. It was my me time, right? So I get up at 6. Now, mind you, they want you to walk a couple times every day. I'm walking every day. I'm talking. I'm shooting the shit. I'm doing whatever. I'm walking down a whole flight of stairs. I'm walking up a flight of stairs. Right? I'm not needing help. Nobody's helping me. I don't use a walker. I'm walking. And mind you, have a walk around with your gowns. You're naked anyways. And I'm carrying my balls and all these different things. So on the day I'm supposed to leave, I've woken up at 6. I've taken my shower at 7 a.m. Told my dad to come get me. I get dressed. I'm ready to go. I go to leave, and I get harassed because I'm in my street clothes. I get one guy giving me a hard time, and mind you, I'm walking around with the thing. I've got my bags. I've got my monitor in my pocket. It's not like I'm just in street clothes. One of the nurses gets mad that I'm being lippy because I'm not in a good mood. I don't want to talk to anybody. He threatens to call security on me because I'm being mean. And at this point, I'm getting mad because I can't really defend myself, not just verbally, but physically. And if security comes and puts their hands on me, I'm going to get hurt. And at this point, I feel disrespected, and there's a little bit of racism that's going on here, and a little bit of stereotyping, a lot of other things that are going on here for him to be talking to me like this, because I'm literally a patient. And I've got my street clothes on. Who gives a fuck what clothes I've got on? I've showed you I'm a patient. You don't know I am, but you don't know everybody. You know what I mean? It just so everything calms down. I go to my room. I've now shut down. I ask my dad to come. My dad comes, They give him the runaround, and next thing you know, one of the doctors tries to tell everybody else my dad's being rude. My dad gets told this, so now my dad's pissed off. So now my dad's looking at me going, I understand why you're mad. And I go, I've been telling you this for 2 weeks. Well, not 2 weeks, but for the week I've been awake, right? I've been telling you for the week that I've been awake that I've been feeling like I've been getting stereotyped and cheating and profiled, and now that you now get it. My dad's like, I get it, dude. We need to get you the fuck out. And there was also a time before I forgot where they were like, your son's not going to progress until he starts following our orders and our commands. And my dad had to tell them, as a large black man, you're not going to order or command me to do anything. You can ask it, which comes back to language and how people talk to you and how you hear what people are saying based on the language. Take these. No, sir, here are your pills. Do you want to take them? No, I don't want to take the potassium pill. You're telling me my blood level's right underneath. I don't want to take it. I'm tired of taking horse pills. I can, you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be good communication. So, luckily for me, I pass all the tests. I don't get security called on me. I get all my paperwork. I get out the hospital, and I am home on December 29th. 2 weeks to the day after being rushed to the hospital after filling a leg and 12 days post surgery, I am home. I'm in the place I've fought so hard to be. I'm all by myself, which isn't recommended, but that's all I could do. And it hits me. I sit down, I try to take a dab, I cough my lungs out. I'm stoned as hell, and I'm just stuck sitting in a chair because I can't get up that fast and I couldn't move that fast. And I'm just like, this is life. It hits me that I'm alone. Nobody's here. Nobody's gonna wipe my ass. Nobody can grab my pills for me. Like it's up to me. It hits me that last time I was in my house was 2 weeks ago, and there's supposed to be spaghetti left over. Even though I'm not hungry, where are they? Can't find them. It hits me. I'm missing the keys to the car that I was supposed to be buying. All my stuff that was in the car is in my house. What happened to the car I had? It hits me. You know, I just barely met that girl, Tessa, and she was in the hospital with me. Is she even gonna like me anymore? Like, it hits me. I can't work. Like, I had to cancel 3 or 4 games while I was in the hospital. I had to cancel comedy shows. It hits me. I struggled through the first couple of days alone by myself. Um, I have some people come by here and there, but and my girl came by the next day. But guess what? 2 days later was New Year's Eve. Life goes on for everybody else. Even though your life just changed, people still deserve to live their lives. They still deserve to have their plans. They still deserve to go do what they're going to do. And so she had to go celebrate New Year's Eve. Luckily, one of my friends came over with one of his friends, and we watched anime all night, smoked some bowls, and played some Magic the Gathering, and just hung out. A couple days after that, I think it was June 6th, so just a week after surgery, I have my first game to work. I'm having my friends pick me up and take me to appointments and pick me up and drop me off at games. And I'm going to tell you, for your first 6 weeks, you are helpless. Well, I did, I'd say about 80% of my stuff on my own. I couldn't do my laundry. I couldn't load the dishwasher. I couldn't take out my trash. I had to wait for people to be here to do that for me. Well, I could do the bare minimum of eating and getting out to bed and taking a shower and wiping my butt. I would be exhausted. By the time I got up and took my pills and took a shower and sat down with breakfast, I needed a nap for the first 4 to 5 weeks I was home. By the time I woke up from that nap, got up, got breakfast, figured out my pills again for the for the second time of the day, right? And got situated and made lunch and sat down. Guess what? I wanted to take a nap then. Fuck. Like those first 6, 8 weeks, you're not doing anything. And I wouldn't recommend it. You do it living alone like I did and having people maybe come over for 4 to 5 hours of a day and spend another 20 alone. Like you need to have a partner. You need to move in with your parents. You need to have a spouse. You need to have even kids. I remember I'd go to work and luckily my work is just doing stats, so I'm not lifting things. And people would be like, "Why are you here?" And I'd be like, "Because I got to pay my bills. Like these bills don't stop just because I had heart surgery. They actually accrue a little bit faster. I got some new ones called CT scans and echocardiograms, and my hospital stays were 1.3 million fucking dollars. So here's the crazy part: is somehow my one scar on my femoral artery was, or my femoral bypass was a little sticky, so I had to go in for another surgery. Since my one of my groin scars was getting infected, that could make me lose my leg and have a whole. So I had to go back in and have them clean it out and put on a med vac. So I literally got out the hospital on December 29th. I got to spend 10, 11 days out of the hospital, and I went back into the hospital on January 10th. I had a surgery to clean it out. I was stuck there another 5 days. By that point, out of 28 days, out of the 4 weeks since my birthday, I had spent 17 days in the hospital. I finally got out on the 16th 15th of January, and it was scary. It was a reminder that I hated being in the hospital. I spent my first 2 days arguing with the people about what surgeries I've been through and giving me my pills and giving me my meds and giving me my pain meds. I had to beg them to give me my Dilaudid and my Percocet for my chest when I was literally only 2 weeks post chest. Sorry, 3 to 4 weeks post chest open heart surgery. Like that shouldn't even be a question. I shouldn't even have to ask. I shouldn't even have anybody arguing with me. I need my pills. Give me my damn pills. I had them arguing with me about my diet. Well, since they didn't say I was on a diet, obviously something was wrong. No, I'm not on a diet. I wasn't unhealthy. I'm not diabetic. I don't have high cholesterol. I don't have high blood. You know what I mean? Well, there's obviously a reason why you had surgery. Yeah, life happens. I don't know why. Supposedly it's hereditary, but I didn't have any precursors. This time around, I didn't get my showers because they had to cut into my groins. Now I'm back on the damn baths with the with the baby wipes and trying to do a bath like that, sponge bath, right? So when I got out the 15th, it was a vow to myself that I was not gonna go back to that hospital. I'm not going back to the hospital. I'm gonna do all the things it takes to stay out of the hospital. Which comes to the idea of what advice do I have for you? What do you need to do? But I'll stop there. Even there's the I think it's the emotional part of recovery. I can't watch a movie that shows somebody dying in a bed without crying. Um, I can't watch people have amnesia without feeling some sort of way or getting upset or having a flashback. Um, I can't. I don't really have a temper or the patience for people anymore when I try to explain to them my needs. I think the harder part too is I've been walking on my own accord very fast. So most people don't know I have this 12-inch scar on my chest. They don't know I have two 6-inch scars on both sides of my groin. I joke that I had top and bottom surgery, but I'm still a man. That's not a joke, that's truth. I've had 14 hours of surgery on my body in a 2-day period, in like a 30-something hour period, and I'm still here, I'm still alive. But you can't see my scars. You can't see my heart. You can't see my aorta, right? You can't see these things. So even in work, even in public, it's so hard being around people and being scared they're going to bump into you or push you or they're mad you're going slow and I can't walk as fast as I want to and my legs numb and I'm just not the same. When I had a talk with my girlfriend one day, I was telling her how I was so mad about the person and she didn't, the guy before and all this. And she told me, she said, I don't know that guy. The only guy I really know is the guy who just fought to have his life. The guy who was too stubborn to die. I'm not religious. I don't do the whole God thing. I didn't pray to God. I just told myself I had to get the fuck out the hospital. I told myself I wasn't gonna die in this hospital. The scary part of hearing people die around you when you're in the ICU is just fucking scary to me. I can't tell you how much terror there is in your heart and your soul, and it's 3 a.m. and your mind's racing and you can't sleep because every hour you're getting woke up and you're hearing people moan and you know somebody died, and then the next day you find out somebody else died at 4 a.m. when you thought they did, and oh my God, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And now it's not that I gotta get the fuck out of here; it's that I can never go back to that. I refuse. I refuse to feel that helpless again and just a prisoner of my own body. That was hell. Like when you're laying there and somebody's talking to you and you don't like how they're talking to you, but you got to take it. You can't do anything and you can't get up and you can't walk away. Oh my God. So now I'm 3 months post op and I'm still not okay. I still cry all the time. I still get mad. As we speak, my left leg is tingling. Um, my inner thigh doesn't feel the same to touch anymore. Luckily, after 4 weeks, my wound closed, so both my femoral scars are closed and healing. Um, it's been 3 months, but about 3 weeks ago, I was able to start going to the sauna at the gym as long as my heart rate doesn't get too high. I don't check my heart rate, I just go, which probably isn't healthy, but how do you stop this? Couple of numbers to understand. The average person who goes through what we go through is 63 years old. So at 43, seen another lady last week who had it at 34, somebody else who's in their 40s. We're below the data. We're on the bottom end of the bell curve. We're not the average patient. When they say most people live 20 years, well, that's because they're already 63. They're living to 81. How much longer are we going to live since we were young when this happened? There's so much unknowns about being a 43-year-old patient with aortic dissection, about being a 43-year-old patient who had a femoral bypass right before aortic dissection, right? There's so little data for all of us. And then again, all of us are all different. I've met one person who had a femoral before. I saw somebody else had a femoral after. but not many people have an emergency femoral that leads into aortic dissection, which is totally different, right? Like we're all a different scenario, so there's no clear answers. Um, for me, the aortic group has been amazing because in my times of need and my times of want for understanding or guidance, there's people that have been through something similar. There's people that have been through part of your story. There are people that have been through or understand what you're going through. Because trust me when I tell you this, no matter how much your loved ones tell you, they do not understand. They can empathize, they can support you, but they're not going to understand. They're going to forget. Um, I had a real heart to heart with my partner the other day, and they were even talking about how, even to this day, I have to remind them I am handicapped still. I'm still disabled. I still can't go 100%. I still need to sit down. I still ran out of breath when all I did was get up and make my damn 2 burritos and grab a cup of orange juice and coffee before this started. And I was fucking tired, right? We're going to look normal, but we're not. The other part is depending on where you're at in this process, and my process is a little different because I didn't have a cardiologist before this. I wasn't on any meds. So at post surgery, everybody's trying to explain why this happened or how this happened or label you and remind yourself you got to find a doctor that you're comfortable with. You got to find a new cardiologist who isn't trying to place blame but's trying to make a plan of action, right? You've got to find people that care for you and support you. Um, you're going to lose a ton of dead weight. There are going to be people that you don't respond well to, that all they did is ask how you're doing. And since you really don't like them, you're not going to respond well to it. There are other people who are going to support you that you never thought were going to. Let them. Somebody wants to help, let them help. I have had to, and this is the big one, you're going to have to humble yourself. Um, I've had to humble myself in the idea of who I was, what I was. I've had to humble myself in the idea of who I can be and what I can do and what I want. And life has changed. You got to remind yourself that when they say there's going to be a little bit of discomfort, that means pain. That means pain. Um, and you're going to go through a ton of pain. And I guess the other thing is it gets better. Um, you've got to you've almost got to throw a funeral for the person you were. You're going to grieve the person you were. You're going to grieve the body you had and what you could do with that body. You're going to grieve the relationships that are broken because you went through something and people can't understand, or they're not understanding, or they're not giving you what you need. That is okay. Relationships are going to break, bonds are going to be broken, but you're going to create new ones. You're going to find other survivors. You're going to find people who genuinely care for you, because when you don't have no money and you don't have anything to offer things to people and all you need is help, you find out who really likes you. I hate to say it like that, but you find out who really supports you and who's really on your team and who's really there for you. I could probably talk all day, um, and I'll end on this. The biggest battle I've had, and I think you're probably going to have, is you got to love yourself. You got to love yourself at 3 in the morning. when your leg wakes you up and you can't go back to sleep. You gotta love yourself when you want to go for a hike and you want to go out with people and you can't. You gotta love yourself when you're not able to go out and do comedy and you're not able to do all those things that you've been doing since before your surgery. And if you can start loving yourself more, I promise your recovery will go easier. I'm Duante Suitman Barnett, and that's my survivor story. Oh,
Dante, that is a riveting story. I'm hanging on every word. I feel like we all are a little bit speechless.
that was painful.
You did all right. You did okay. So let's say hi to some of the people in chat here, right?
Oh,
Renee says hi there. Velda says hello. Christina says hello, y'all. When you got to the story about her not really being your girlfriend yet, Renee says she's an angel sent to you at the perfect time. Molly says, hi, Dante. Thank you for being here. Renee says, you are wonderful. And so there's a couple of observations that I have throughout the story. And one of the things that you did a very good job of was circling around to the fact that you had zero health issues at all. No high blood pressure, not pre-diabetic, the whole nine. You go in there, you're healthy, presumably, and then everything goes sideways. So I was going to ask that question, but that was asked and answered. The short temper, right? This is something that we see in the support groups that we raise a little flag to people and we let them know, hey, you're going to find out really soon that you don't have patience for petty things, right? So everything from somebody being dismissive to you or a repeat offenders of any kind of small indulgence on their part will flare up, and an anger that you didn't used to possess shows up, right? And from what I'm understanding, that just it gets a little bit longer, that short wick, but many people are just like, I don't care about the little things at all anymore.
I don't. I think it was my third or fourth day home. I had somebody message me complaining I hadn't responded to them while I was in the hospital, or I hadn't. They sent me a text or a message saying I needed to read their text, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck you. No, I don't. I don't need to go back and read shit. You want to talk to me? Talk to me. You got a question? Ask it. But no, I don't feel bad that I didn't respond to you fucking 3 weeks ago, dude. And then not only did I lose my shit then, I went from 5,000 Facebook friends down to 2,800 that night. Because I literally
Wow.
through and started deleting all the comics, all the cute girls I had ever added, all the whatever, you know what I mean? As a single guy, you add, oh, that girl looks great. I want to see her pictures. I deleted all those fucking people. I got down to like N or M, so there's probably more I could have deleted. But I literally stayed up because somebody texted me in the middle of the night from like 2 to like 7 a.m. So when I needed to take my pills again and was deleting one by one every fucking person. Oh, you're somebody I knew from high school, but I don't talk to you. Delete. I don't even really like you. I don't think you like me. Delete. I don't know you. Who are you? Delete. Oh, you had some fucking funky shit to say, or you're always sneering at this. Delete. Oh, you're being passive aggressive all the time. Delete. Fuck, I don't even fucking like the look of your haircut. Delete. You got an ugly beard. Delete. You got. Well, I promise you, it's just, and not only that, but like one of my little brother, my baby brother is a drug, a recovering. He's in recovery, and I remember I didn't tell this part of the story, but on Christmas, he came by after I got the pacemaker taken out. I fell asleep because they put blankets on me, which made me warm. So I passed out. So he walks in. He's like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing? Are you feeling okay? How was surgery?" And I'm just like, "Stop." And I didn't say anything. And luckily, this, like I said, that I got the good nurse, and the Polynesian guy came in, and he felt like my little brother, and he got mad at my little brother's like, "You guys need to leave. You're overwhelming him." And when he came back, I was like, "You did that." I could tell you, he knew I was getting mad. Like he shed a tear because he was like, "I feel like your little brother now. And I didn't like how your little brother was treating you, so I got him out of here, and I knew you were getting mad." And it's just like I can't. I want to ask you a question. Great. What is it? Well, I don't know. Do you want to hear the question? Motherfucker, ask the question. Like I don't, I don't want to do this talk around, and I don't want to. You don't know. You don't have to like me. You can go the fuck over there. I don't really care. I'm. I don't. I don't care if I hurt your feelings. You know why? I almost died last week. Did you almost die last week? No. Great. Who gives a fuck? Shut up. Oh yeah. I had like just I my oh my patience for first world problems is no longer there. And I think that's the best way to look at it is like I even with my girlfriend now, so we talked about she's like, "You've been grumpy," and I'm like, "I'm not," and I'm like, "I'm obviously I have," and she was like, "I get it. You've been through so much, right? And when you've gone through so much and you've gone through it alone, and honestly, I don't care how many people are in support group. You guys are all going through this alone because it's only your body that's recovering. It's only your body that got cut into. But you're you're unable to really. I have no empathy right now. I literally told a guy who was in a wheelchair yesterday or the other day how fucked up my life is, and the guy in the wheelchair was like, "Yeah." Mind you, this is the guy in the wheelchair that I'm telling about losing, like my legs numb and I can barely feel it, and how I had these two heart surgeries. And he's just looking at me like, "Yeah, man, that's fucked up. Like my heart works and I'm used to my chair." But you get what I mean? Like he could even, when the guy in the wheelchair's got empathy for you, your story's fucked up. There's no other way to put it. When the cripple feels bad for you, you got some things going on, and that's just kind of where I'm at with things. Is like I'm not physically crippled, like you can't see it, but we are, and then it puts a mental and a social cripple on us that you can't see either. And so, like, we got all these demons going. I don't really give a shit. You stubbed your toe, great. Have you had your chest cut open? Oh, your daughter got kicked out of school. Great. Have you had your chest cut open? Oh, you had a bad day. Who gives a fuck? Was your chest cut open? I rest my case. That's just kind of like, I rest. That's my girlfriend was like, because, I talk shit, we joke, and she'll go to, "Hey, you can't hit me. I'm disabled." She's like, "How long are you going to use that?" It's like, "How long am I going to have the scar?" When you get rid of the scar, I'll stop saying I'm handicapped. Like, what? I still got my placard. It's good till next year. Yep, I'm still. Sorry, I digress.
So,
But yeah, that's
so Teresa here. She says, "You're amazing, Dante. It has been a blessing to be by your side through all of this."
Oh, thank you. It's different. I've I think the other big one is I heal real fast anyways, but if you guys can't tell, I laugh a lot, and laughing is one of the most painful things you can do coming out of surgery. Like I'm gonna tell you now, I think it was the second week I was home. I got to do my online game show. You'll see there's match game shows if you go to SuitMan Productions in one of my things, and it's a whole bunch of us entertainers doing a very um, obscene R and X-rated version of the match game, right? So If you're going there thinking with your mom and your Mormon friends and your church, do not go watch this, right? But we were having a good time, and all I wear is a bow tie, because I'm suit man. So I used to wear a bow tie, no shirt, and they called me suit tits, right? So my first show out, they started calling me zipper tits and scar tits, and I was just fucking dying, right? And I'm laughing, and then I'm telling them to stop making me laugh because it's hurt. And then I had to take a fucking pain pill the minute we got off the show because I was laughing for like 45 minutes straight, right? And I say all this to say to give you an idea. Laughter, I think, might be the best thing for your recovery. I laugh every day. I laugh a ton. The reflex, it's training muscles that you can't train. So I can't lift and I can't exercise, but I'm laughing 200-300 times a day. So that's 200-300 times a day. These muscles are forced to move, even though I'm not supposed to be moving them, quote unquote, right? But it's my chest is probably a lot stronger because of it. My body is a lot stronger because of how much I'm laughing. But I'm going to remind you, it hurts.
There will be some discomfort.
It hurts like a motherfucker. There's gonna be some discomfort. Fuck the doctors. Discomfort. Yeah, fuckers.
Another thing that I typically bring up is the isolation, right? And you were very eloquent in your stance of nobody that you're going to talk to knows what you're going through except other survivors, right? And so that's one of the reasons why we push the support groups so hard. That isolation can be, it can be emptying. It can drain hope. It can drain observational preferences for putting yourself in a beneficial place. Like it's not the greatest thing. And Velda, who said hi in the chat here earlier, she's one of our support groups for the Canadian side of things. And not too long ago, she was on a radio show, and then there was an article written about the radio show, and somebody that lives in her town reached out to her through Facebook and said, hey, I had this happen 15 years ago, and I've never talked to another survivor before, right? And so that sparks this, they meet every now and then for hours to just chit-chat, and this gentleman does not want to talk about his dissection by any means at all. All he wants to do is just talk to somebody else who's gone through what he's gone through, and they talk about anything but that. Right?
I'm glad you brought.
That's interesting, right?
I had an argument the other day, and not so much argument, but me and my girlfriend got into a gray area where I didn't. So I didn't talk about this, and I should have. Just because the surgery's done doesn't mean your heart's at 100%. Your heart's never going to be 100% anymore. It's still going to leak. You're going to have shitty valves. You're not going to have 100%. And so I say this on purpose because 2.5 weeks ago I had my first echocardiogram, and then when I got the results back, because you get your test results back without them saying anything to you. So I just read, this valve's leaking, this valve's leaking, this valve's leaking. Everything's fucking leaking. And I'm thinking of my heart like an engine. Like, if everything's fucking leaking, we got a lemon. We need to sell this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, get rid of it, right? Like, what did they say? They sold me a shitty heart. They didn't do a surgery. So I'm feeling some sort of way, and I didn't want to talk to my girlfriend, and she called the first time, I ignored it, and then she called the second time, and I fell asleep anyways. That's why I kind of ignored the first one, as I was falling asleep. And then I messaged her, and then I texted her the next day, and we ended up hanging out, and then I saw her, I told her, I've been missing her calls, and then she got mad and started treating me a certain way and feeling like I left. I left her at the hotel in the middle of the night. So you can fucking take your attitude and go where the fuck you want. Fuck you. And we talked the next day. She's like, I feel like you were shutting me out. I was shutting everybody the fuck out. I don't like talking about my mortality every fucking day. Every day, including right now, I talk about how I almost died, right? What happened, why it happened. I got to think about how I might be dying, or I could die tomorrow, or I could die fuck you. I just don't. And God, people don't get that. And that's why I said you're going to lose so many connections because people don't know how to talk to you. They don't know what to say, or they're going to ask at the wrong time. I had a person message me at like 4 in the morning one night saying, "Hey, I heard from some people that you almost died," and I was like, "What the fuck do you mean you heard from some people? And who in the fuck are you talking to about this? And why in the fuck are you messaging me at 4 in the morning on Snapchat? I've had the same phone number for 25 fucking years." And the disrespect I felt wasn't probably all warranted, but to me it was because this was too serious for a Snapchat message. I've got too much trauma that I've got to think about to respond to you for you to be sending me a fucking message at 4 in the morning on Snapchat. And not only that, but now that I'm alive and this is my last chance, fuck you anyways. If that's how you talk to me, that's the only way you know how to get a hold of me. Obviously, you're not that important in my life anyways, right? And that's the truth. I remember at my 20-year graduation, I went through a bad divorce. I lost my kids. I went through a whole bunch of shit. And at my 20th reunion, everybody was asking me what I was going to do and all this shit. And all I was doing was fucking crying. So I left. And everybody's like, "Why'd you leave?" I was like, "Because those people don't know me. And I don't need to be in front of people that I need to justify my story for or tell them my backstory about why I'm a fucking superhero now. It's usually heartbreak, right? Like, you don't need to hear my backstory. Not everybody needs to hear about your surgery." The biggest thing, and I'm about to go do it again, and everybody's going to laugh at this. You know what I've been doing for the last 3 nights, including tonight, Joshua? I've been playing Magic the Gathering with a whole bunch of fuckers that look like you. And that's what I've probably done the most out of all the days I've been back alive. It was like the second week I was alive, my nerd buddies came and played Magic with me. You know why? Because I can be sick, I can be almost dying, I can be in great shape, and I can still compete. Somebody wins and loses in Magic, motherfucker, and you're gonna lose today. And even if my heart's not feeling well, I can kick your ass in Magic, right? There's so much freedom in me being able to fucking compete because I'm an athlete and I'm not gonna be competing anytime soon. I guarantee you that, right? But I found somewhere where, and guess what? I for a while I get to go first because I had heart surgery, and they're like, "How long are you gonna fucking do that?" Right? And they're like, "You're not in your house. You're just a regular fucking person here. You don't get to go first in our house, right?" But it's the only place where my heart surgery doesn't mean anything. Mm. It's the only place where I get to just be Duante. It's funny you said a group in Canada, and I'm like, I'm Seattle. I'm probably closer to more of those people than I am the rest of the people in the other group, right? Because Vancouver's right there, right? It's got me wanting to add the group, right?
Well, we had to open that up because so it's an interesting story. We were making an ad for the aortic dissection the patient guide, and I was explaining to Karen, if we're gonna market it, like let's market it into Canada as well, right? Like, who knows if the UK book will be applicable there? I'm not sure, but we have a bunch of Canadians in our support groups. When the Facebook data came down for who's clicking on things, Canada was clicking on 98% of everything all over Canada, right? And all of the US states were at the low 5%. It was absurd. It was really weird. And so that was the beginning of getting Martha and Velda kind of in line and getting that up and running. But their healthcare is different, completely different. It's not at all close to what we have by any stretch of the imagination. And so they just needed a place where they could talk to each other, have their, where did you go, what were your doctor's names were, and all of that jazz. So, and then again, the standard support, the support structure there is all. But our regular support groups, we have, and they're open to everyone. All of our U.S. support groups are open to the entire world. We have people show up from everywhere, literally every corner of the world. New Zealand, Australia, Germany. It's ridiculous. It's everywhere. And so our West Coast stuff, like those people are used to jumping in at 4 o'clock Eastern. They're not used to jumping in at 7 p.m. their time, and we're still trying to push it. So But we have a huge grouping of West Coast people, like a huge grouping of them, and they like to show up at 4 Eastern. You know, nice little lunchtime for them, get their stuff taken care of, and say again.
Pacific. You said 4 Eastern. You mean 4 Pacific?
No, I mean 4 Eastern. They're showing up at 1 p.m. their time.
I'm just barely waking up. I wake up, take my pill, smoke a bowl, and go back to bed.
Right. And so, but you know, we see the value, and it's very interesting for people that are, if you're not used to what a support group has to offer, this is what my anecdotal experience is. I watch people show up completely gray in the face, nearly hopeless. They don't say anything, they just listen. And as people are kind of going through some of the things that they've done, you can watch them become more responsive. You can watch the spark come back. You can see that they don't feel so alone. And even if they never say anything, the fact that somebody else said something that echoes what they said validates their experience completely, right? And slowly but surely, color comes back into their face. They become more vocal, and they start taking on the things that you were already mentioning. Like, self-advocacy is king in this industry, okay? You know, like you said, not many people survive this. Part of that is also the fact that if you didn't have cardiologists going in, you had zero health issues going into this. But now it's in your best interest to make sure that you're talking to people who have aortic disease in their background, right? Like, I want to say it was maybe 18 months ago, it was just kind of like dawned on us that we were like, listen, it doesn't matter who's taking your scan. If your scan's not being read by a thoracic surgeon, then you're not getting the best advice that you can get on that scan. You want to talk to the people that do the operations. You want to talk to the people that know what that scan looks like and what it looks like when they get in there. So your cardiologist might be a little off. Your whoever the scanning person is might be a little off. A physician's assistant might be a little off. Right? So instead of like putting it all on your general practitioner, terrible idea, putting it all on a cardiologist, better idea, still not the best, but making sure that your scans are coming through by somebody who's going to know what happens next. Right? And so, and you know, we started pushing that advice. Like, if you don't already have a thoracic surgeon in your pocket for this, you need to make sure you have one. Your scans should not be being interpreted by somebody who's not a surgeon, not a specialist at that. Right? And so self-advocacy is king. Like, I love the messaging of the idea that people are coming in and just telling you to do stuff and saying you're not being compliant, you're not following our orders. That, to me, just hearing that was like a slap in the face. Just the idea alone, that demeanor is it's irresponsible in a medical facility.
It wasn't just irresponsible. From the idea of human rights, right? And I take it there because it was racism, right? It was stereotyping, with the fact that the doctors said my dad was being mean when my dad's the humblest black guy. You know what I mean? Like, we're the same demeanor, but we are not the same. Let me say, we are the same, but we are not the same demeanor. And what I mean by that is, I'm a young radical. My dad's more like Martin. I'm more like Malcolm. Whereas my dad, you know, we do everything peacefully, and maybe he didn't mean it. Let's talk about it, and there's no reason to jump to a conclusion. Whereas Malcolm X, motherfucker, I don't give a shit if you didn't mean to. I don't like it, right? And so, for the end of my stay, for it to end like that, my dad to literally be like, one time he was like, "You could find that motherfucker." He wished he could find him because he felt like the guy was doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. That says enough, right? Well, my dad was wanting to find the surgeon, and so that's the guy. No, these are the good doctors. These aren't the ones that need funny, right? Because he was losing the shit. He's about to lose the shit on my two surgeons. Hey, Dad, calm down. That's not the guy. It's the other Scott. You know, because they're both white guys named Scott or Sean. They were both white guys. We were stereotyping at that point, but it was it was so weird. Like people were like, did you talk to your patient representative? And I was, no, my patient representative was white. Why in the fuck would I want to talk to another white person about
Mm.
racism, right? I've been writing. I wrote a movie. I'm writing a second one. I got inspired to write a new show called ICU, where people check in and they may not check out, and we just talk about. And it's not like ER, right? It's not like West Wing where everything's all lovey-dovey and we're talking. No, I'm gonna be writing about is the situations where people die in the ICU and how it's because somebody made a mistake or somebody prejudged somebody because they're racist or they don't like Filipinos. They assume the guy attacked the girlfriend, so they didn't help him, and it was actually the other way around, or whatever crazy fucking story we could talk about. But really going into those ideals that people's personal conflicts and personal thoughts and feelings and how they feel about people transfer into the type of fucking care you get when you get into the hospital. I remember, and this is what I'll end on this point. There was a point at the end where I was complaining to the guy who had pissed off my dad. My dad's not talking to him, so I'm trying to talk to him because I'm pissed off. But now that my dad's pissed off, I can't have us both be pissed off. Because you can't have two 6 foot something, 300-pound black guys upset. We're going to go to the jail. We're going to go. So now I'm trying to calm down, right? And I looked at the guy and I said, you guys have treated me in a way that is not really right. And the guy said, but we saved your life. And I said, hold on. Since you saved my life, you can treat me any way you fucking want. Are you fucking kidding me? Well, I didn't mean it like I said, but that was your response to what I said is, but we saved your life. You didn't save my life. These 16 fucking nurses I'm complaining about didn't save my life. The two surgeons did. Those guys and me, we have a great relationship. It's you other 17 fucking people who weren't in the surgery room that I got a problem with. So why in the fuck are you guys saying you saved my life if you weren't in that operating room? Because it was them. And there was nothing you did by giving me my pills that saved my life. It was my own will and determination to get the fuck out of here that saved my life. And the guy just had this look of, oh, fuck, I fucked up. And it was like, yeah, you fucked up. You don't get to tell people we saved your life so we get to talk to you and treat you or order your command. No, fuck you. I don't like that. And that was the, I'm sorry. I didn't need to get girls. But that was the thing that, like, as a large black man, was the hardest fucking thing for me to deal with next to the surgery itself. The racial frustration, the cultural frustration, the literally telling people to get the fuck out my face. When I told that story, I made the girl cry. No, you're gonna listen to me, bitch. First off, I'm an adult. I'm not your child. And if you'd have done these things and gave me these checkpoints, I would have fucking done them. So why in the fuck didn't you tell me? And it was, yeah, bitch, I'm talking to you now. You don't like how I'm talking to you? I haven't liked it for the last 48 fucking hours. And when I got there, let me tell you, when that attitude changed in me, I got treated a little differently, but then also now I was a risk. And it was just, I cannot tell you how much it took out of me to make it out of the hospital. I had to sacrifice myself. I had to sacrifice my own anger. I had to sacrifice everything to make it to where I could honestly be okay with even being in the hospital. And I say that because as a larger black man, it's hard to let people talk to you a certain way, right? I think you guys heard me say I'm a security guard. I don't let people walk over me. I don't let people give me an attitude. I don't let people tell me I'm not enough or I need it. Fuck, who the fuck are you talking to? And so to be in a position where not only could I not get up, there was one night where I couldn't even get comfortable. There was another night I could have sworn my two nurses were drinking and having sex and had some guy hanging out with them in the fucking nurses area, right? And weren't responding. But I got to deal with all this, and at no point do I get to tell you guys you're doing a bad job and you guys change anything. When I tell you I'm in pain and I need meds, and you're like, well, we're having a meeting. Somebody can't walk over, give me 2 pills, and walk the fuck away from a meeting. I got to sit here in pain for 90 minutes because you're switching shifts. Are you fucking kidding me? And by the way, you guys don't want to help me because I keep saying fucking because I'm fucking pissed off because you're not doing your fucking job. So now that I'm saying fucking, you don't want to help me even more because I'm quote unquote cursing? Who gives a fuck? I have never. Those last couple of days in there, and especially the second time, because on the second visit, it's almost like they knew I was a problem. They had my file because you don't get to see what your notes are. It was hilarious to have them still treating me like that, but a whole new set of people. And so it made me wonder what's in those notes. Patient's the asshole. Patient's hypersensitive. I remember one time I looked at my notes and it said he's a football guy. He's sensitive to pain. I've had a shoulder reattached, a knee rebuilt, and an ear replaced. I don't think I'm sensitive. I think I know my body because obviously I had to have major surgeries after complaining about shit. What do you mean I'm sensitive? Fuck you. You know? So the advocacy part, the need for just more people of color and I don't mean Filipinos. I don't mean Asians and black people are not the same thing. We're not culturally aligned, to be quite honest. I can tell you for a fact that Asian populations and black populations get along about as well as white and black populations at times, right? So, no, it's not just because we got 7 Filipinos in there and I can't understand what they're saying because they're Filipino and they got their accent. You know, no. And I'm not being racist here. I'm telling you, this is the experience. As a young black person, we're not the demographic that has this surgery. So then we're stuck around people that don't look like us, and we culturally and racially have issues that we want to express. I don't want to talk to another white person about how white people are treating me bad. Sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
I'm just angry.
Yeah, like I said, that fuse. I don't even. I've we talk to people that are way out. Like on Therapeutic Thursdays, we have a gentleman who's 18 years post surgery, right? And he turned to therapy after that. His early experience was like he was in film, he was a documentarian, but after the surgery, like he just wanted to be able to understand the emotional struggle more, right? More mental power, more emotional struggle. And the fact that he's 18 years out is such a huge thing. He doesn't seem to have like a short temper, but he does a very good job of not putting himself in positions where he's going to be dealing with people that are flying off the handle or what have you. And so there's a bunch of that I'm curious about. How many times people self-censor just for preservation? Like, I'm not gonna pick your battles. It's that kind of thing. Like, I'm not gonna engage here. This guy's worthless to me anyway, or this person's just whatever. And so he's again 18 years out. During a caregiver group, we heard from a lady who her husband had his surgery in 1996 and still kicking it, right? And so these long-lasting, long-serving situations, this is where we wonder, how long the change is going to be. Over the last 3 years, I can tell you, or last 4 years, 5 years, almost 5 years, the sense of adventure for some of the dissection survivors, it shows back up 3 years out. 3 years out, they start wanting to explore the world again. And so you'll hear stories from like Chef Rob, who he went and climbed up Matterhorn on a 57-day European vacation, touring different everything. Right. We have another gentleman. He started to feel very good, and he sat down with a surgeon and he said, "I would like to know if I could go skydiving." Right. And Heath is a rock star when it comes to post dissection adventures. He's gone skydiving. The surgeon was like, "Your body's put back together. It's far past the ability to handle the parachute situation." Shortly after that, he was like, "I want to go scuba diving." How many people have done that? And the doctor was like, "Well, this is different. You're going up into the sky is one thing. Every 8 or 9 feet going down, you're changing atmospheric pressure." He's like, "I predict you can go about 30 feet. He's like, "That's all I needed to hear." And he went scuba diving in Mexico and rang in after he was done, showed us a picture of the beach bar he was at, told us about his adventure. And I mean, those are the kind of things that you want to hear when you're just getting out of surgery, right? That life isn't going to be stuck in this rut. For that first year, though, that first year is a son of a bitch.
I'm supposed to be moving to Hawaii in May. I'm not letting this stop me. I'm selling everything. Tomorrow I'm going to be listing all my Legos on Facebook to sell and offer up and selling my furniture. And yeah, I've been having to humbly think about, I plan on living on an island. I can't just go swim. Like, can I go swim? I really can't get into the beaches where the waves are real rough. When I first moved there, I probably got to wait. But I haven't lost my sense of adventure. And I think that's because I'm not like any of the other patients where I planned for this. I knew it was coming. I woke up one day, the next day I had this, and now I had no mental.
So you misunderstand what it means to be a survivor, right? There are 2 types of survivors. They're not all planned. The largest majority of our survivors are like you. Emergency surgery, no clue, 0 clue. No scans that said they had things, no high blood pressure reported, no family history that they were aware of. The vast majority of people just show up in the ER. They wake up and find out what happened, right? We have another gentleman out of Trinidad. He shows up every now and then and gives us a little his take on things. And one of his regular things. I mean, this guy was a runner. He was a swimmer in the Caribbean his entire life, and I mean, it took him a while to get back in there and have the energy to fight the waves. And he was like, I really didn't know how bad that was. But now he's back to swimming, right? I think he's 2 years out.
That's
Yeah, and also he's another young guy.
That's the part that I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
I told myself I had to move. I got the grant. I got my money covered for 2 months. I got bills paid for 2 months. Let me save up 3 or 4 grand. I got my car fixed. I got enough. When am I ever going to get another chance to move to Hawaii?
Take that trip, bro. 100%.
And like I called her my wife. My girlfriend said is I could always move. Right? I can always come back, but I gotta go. I gotta go. Have these 5, 6, 7, 8 months, 9 years, 15 years, maybe my lifetime on the beach, but I gotta go. If this surgery stopped me from moving, I would never be okay. My heart would really be broken.
Yeah.
Are we done recording? I gotta get up.
Oh, we're still live. We can call it. Do you want to tell these nice people to like and subscribe? Oh, Tom says, "Thank you for."
They have for things. I'll respond. Go ahead.
Tom says, "Thanks for sharing. Very honest. Thank you."
No problem.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
No. I think everybody's just kind of soaking it in.
Here's I'd end on is I'm very ignorant to what the rest of our population is, and what I mean is the survivors. Like I don't know. Everybody's different. It sounds like maybe I'm wrong and thinking a lot of people have this plan. Nobody has a plan.
It's rare.
But for the most part, But one thing I can tell you that's the same for all of us is your life's not the same anymore. And it's okay that that's not okay. And I don't, I'm going to cry again. I'm not ready to bury the old guy I was. I'm not ready to give up on being the guy I was before surgery. Um, I may have to one day, and it may be get easier to let that go as time goes on. But you're not crazy for being upset that you're not the same person anymore. Um, these emotions you feel are very valid. Um, it's okay to be mad and sad and all those things because you should be. The day your life changed, there were billions of people that didn't know, didn't care, and were still doing all the shit you can't do. And it's a reminder that none of that shit matters either. How you feel is going to change by the minute, by the hour, sometimes by the second or by the day. And that's okay too. And if you can't find people that are okay with you being all fucked up and all over the place, well, fuck them. Because you got to love you. And I mean that so much. Um, I cried the other day because I walked by and I saw my scar on my chest. And I got out the shower and I just turned and looked and I saw my scar and I cried. And I didn't cry like now where I had a ton of tears. I just had that initial feeling of fuck me. And that's okay too. Um, you're alive. And I hate to say this, but that's the prize right now. That's literally the prize is that you're alive. Your legs gonna feel like shit. Your arms gonna tingle. Your hands are gonna go numb. You're not gonna have any appetite. Your weight's gonna fluctuate. Your hair's gonna fucking fall out. But you're still here to bitch about it. If you need to bitch about it, bitch about it. You're here. You have that right. And I mean that so much. I need to tell myself that more. And the one I'll end on is the one my girlfriend keeps telling me is you got to give yourself some grace. You got to give yourself some love. I'm only 3 months post-op, right? And I'm doing way more than most are. I'm driving, I'm smoking, I'm having a drink every once in a while. I tried to do a hike the other day. Like I went out to a cabin. Like most aren't even doing that. If you still got your legs and you had a femoral bypass, hug yourself. Because I didn't know so many people lose a foot or lose a fucking leg. And so I didn't know how lucky I was to even have both of my legs still and both of my feet and all that. So at least I have them to be numb. There's so many things to be upset about, and you're right to be upset about them. And there's so many things to be thankful for, and you're right to be thankful for them. And if you're mad or you're upset, I really don't give a shit. I love you either way. And if people aren't loving you either way, fuck them. That's all I got.
Eloquent. I love it. All right, everybody. Let's let Dante get back to this. Christina says thank you, Dante. Yeah, I
No
agree.
problem. Thank
All right, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find the Suitman at SuitMan Productions. Where can they find you on YouTube?
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me I don't even give a shit about my stuff no more. It seems like look, I'm just happy to be alive. Fuck comedy. Um, look up Suitman, SuitMan Productions. That'll get you to YouTube, the website, there's dating with disabilities, autastic artists. There's hundreds of different shows, podcasts that I've produced and I've been on there. And for those of you who are trying to date, I definitely look at dating with disabilities. We talked to people who've lost limbs. We haven't talked to a lot of aortic survivors, but I've talked about myself on there. We've talked to deaf people, cerebral palsy, spinal bifida, all kinds of different stuff. People with disabilities are regular people too. Go date you a girl in a wheelchair. She can't run away from you. Right? There's so many things out there, but Autastic artists, it gives people who have disabilities and mental issues a chance to talk about how it affects their artistry and their performances. There's so much stuff we try to do on SuitMan Productions, and so much more we'll be doing. So check us out at SuitMan Productions or SuitManComedy.com.
Right on. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.